Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Mindful Monday. I'd like to welcome everybody here, those who have been here in the past and those of you for the first time. Either way, I'm really excited. This is an exciting time of the year, and some people think crazy when I say that exciting time of the year. 2.5 weeks. What's the matter with you? Don't you look at the calendar? And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about one of the most exciting times in the Jewish calendar and how we can look at it. If you already are looking at it in a great positive perspective, it's certainly not something that I was brought up with, something that I became aware of that I did not look at. In fact, I have children that are still traumatized, seriously, are still traumatized from Pesach, from me. I take the blame. And I was traumatized from my upbringing about Pesach. And that's what we want to focus on. This is part two of holiday preparation, specifically Pesach. We started speaking about this 2 weeks ago when we started to talk about Purim. And just to give a brief overview of what that is, that Yom Tov means good day. It's a good day. Holiday, the word holiday, we call it holiday in English, comes from the word holy day. It is a holy day. And a lot of us get lost in a lot of the preparations and a lot of the get sidetracked about what this means in our lives, what the concepts are, and we lose sight. And it's not just in our culture and our religion, it happens across the board in humanity. And let's talk about that tonight. And hopefully by the end of this little talk, you will have an opportunity to really take a different look about not just how you look at the Yom Tov itself, but how you look at the preparation. Because obviously the preparation is something that people have struggles with. That has been my experience. If you don't have any struggles with the preparations for the holiday, that's wonderful. Really, I think that's amazing. Hopefully, you'll still learn something new and grow from this. We all know what to do before Pesach. We know what we have to do in order to prepare for the holiday. It's not like something that we've never done before. We're all adults. And even if this is the first time that you're actually making the preparations, you were brought up, you've experienced Pesach. So I don't think there's anybody here who's just born and never experienced the Pesach before. So we know what to do. Now, there are obviously people who are more organized than other people, but we all know what to do. There are some people that get so overwhelmed with the Pesach preparation that they start to worry about it. Hanukkah comes Purim. I've heard people say, "Oh my gosh," I used to say to myself, "Wow, Pesach 2 months. Oh my gosh," and we get nervous about it. We know what needs to be done. We know how to do it. We know how to prepare. So none of that can be our lack of information can be is what is causing us this overwhelm, this angst. There's got to be something else that underlying that is causing us this added stress, yes, added stress. And that is what we are going to primarily focus on. And we spoke about it before 2 weeks ago when we spoke about Purim, about what is your concept of Purim. And it came out that a lot of people just felt that they weren't enough, that they needed to do it a certain way. They were worried what other people are going to think about them. And their perfectionism was what blocked them. And it's no different than the holiday of Pesach, but we're going to attack it from a little bit of a different angle. So to start with, like with anything else that we do, and especially we do it in our program. By the way, I didn't even introduce myself, but I'm sure by now you know who I am. My name is Alan Nemtzov, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Ascent, which is the host of these Mindful Mondays. It is an opportunity to teach and show people and share with people who are not in our programs to understand a little bit what we do and to give you a little flavor of how we are changing people's lives. We are on a mission to guide 100 million people to live in their highest self. And living in their highest self, we've spoken about before what that means to live in your highest self. The highest self is a person who talks about other people. That is a low level of a person. That is their lower self. If you're talking about other people, gossiping, criticize. An average, not a lower self, is a person who talks about situations. Oh, did you hear what happened to me yesterday? Did you know about this? And they talk about the news, or they talk about incidents. That's an average person. The higher self, that's a person who talks about concepts and ideas. That is what we do here. We talk about concepts. We don't talk about people, and we don't talk about situations. We talk about concepts. And we are taking a situation and talking about the concept of the situation so you can live in that situation from your highest self. Pretty cool, right? That is what we do in our programs. That is how we help people to lower their anxiety, to lower their stress, and to be able to keep their weight off is what we primarily do. And we'll talk more about that later. But for now, that is what we are talking about tonight. How you can live Pesach from your higher self. Imagine being able to do that. So hopefully you all have a pen and paper and you're ready to get started. By the way, you will have an opportunity once we are finished to have a Q&A session where you can ask questions, and hopefully we'll be able to answer your questions and guide you and give some clarity about something that you're struggling with, either about something that was said or something that's going on at this time of the year. When you think about Pesach, the first time or any time that you think of the word Pesach, Passover, whatever you want to call it, however you describe it, Yontif, doesn't matter what word that you use, but when you say that word, I want you to write down what is the first thing that comes to your mind. In order to heal, we want to get to a higher level. We want to live at that higher level. The way, and I call it healing, because to go from your lower self to your average self is a process. It's a healing process. To go from your average self to your higher self is another process. It is a healing process. In order to heal, the number one thing that you have to do is honesty. I ask my clients a lot of times, what happens when you're feeling some type of pain, or you have fever, or you have some type of medical condition? What do? You go to the doctor, and whether you're going to the office, or you're going to the urgent care, or you go to the hospital, what do they do? First, they ask you questions about the symptoms, and then they take some blood, they take some urine, maybe they'll take some x-rays, maybe a CAT scan. They do some diagnostic tests. What is the reason? We all know this, obviously. The reason is so we can determine what is the problem. Why do we want to determine what the problem is? The only way to treat your symptoms is to identify what the problem is. When you go to the doctor and you're having these symptoms and they don't find out what's wrong, sometimes that can be disheartening. Sometimes that can be difficult because what do I do? I'm still having these symptoms and you don't know what's wrong. I don't know how to treat this. Should I take an antibiotic? You don't have an infection, there's no point. In fact, not only there's no point, you're going to build up antibodies when you don't need it. And later on, when you actually do have an infection, your immune system is going to be immune to this and not going to be immune, and it's not going to assist you. So no, we don't want to just randomly just give you medication. We have to give you the right thing when you're doing any type of work. When we want to go from our average self to our higher self, we need to know what the problem is that is preventing us from living in our higher self. Or how do we get to more of living in our higher self? So we have to find out what the problem is that is keeping us in either our lower self or our average self in order to live in our higher self. So we have to diagnose the problem. The way to diagnose the problem and to heal is honesty. For some people, they call it self-awareness, self-knowledge, clarity, all the same words, all meaning the exact same thing. We're trying to identify what it is. And it's not necessarily a problem. It could just be that there's a lack of learning. It could be that there's an experience. It could be that something happened in our past that is preventing us. It could be a fear. There are a multitude of different variables that could be preventing a person from getting from their average self to their higher self. What happens is a lot of people say, I'm happy living in my average self. I don't want to live in my higher self. And that's just an excuse. So there's three things that you should know that are going to prevent you from getting to your higher self. And we're also going to talk about in a moment what is the honesty of what it is that is blocking you. So two different ways that we're looking at this. Number one, the three things that prevent you from getting to the higher self, the BCJ mindset, BCJ. B, blaming. If you are blaming, even if you're blaming yourself, you are preventing yourself from living in your higher self. Number two, complaining. If you are complaining about anything, you are not going to be able to live in your higher self. You are either going to be in your lower self, in other words, talking about other people, or you're going to be living in your average self. The third one is justification, giving excuses, justifying why you can't do this. It's too difficult. This person is blocking me. I don't have time. I have so much to do with my family. It's my spouse. It's my job. It's my financial situation. Again, excuses, blaming, and complaining. Those are the three things that will prevent anybody from living with their highest self. And some people are so conditioned to it, and I can certainly attest to that because that's how I was. I didn't even know there was such a concept, and that's why I'm talking about it. Because if you don't know there's such a concept, you don't even know that there's anything wrong. If you are anxious, if you are worried, if you are fearful, I don't mean that it happens, that situation that you get worried for temporarily. I'm talking about if you live in worry, if you live with anxiety, if you live with fear, if there are certain things, goals that you have in your life, and you are unable to achieve and accomplish those goals, or even start working towards those goals, that is what we are talking about. That is the BCJ, the blaming, complaining, and justifying. That are those three blockades in your mindset that will prevent you from ever reaching your goals and living the life that you truly deserve, the life that you truly want. You will not be able to get there. This is not logical. This is an emotional healing that needs to take place. In other words, we're talking about intellectual people. We're not talking about people who don't understand. We're not talking about people who are not successful in other areas of their lives. But in order to get to your highest self, that is definitely takes work. What is the work? Honesty is the way. If you are doing BCJ, if you're blaming, complaining, or justifying, you are not being honest. The reason you're not being honest, because the truth is, as you're going to see, that it's up to you. You have an innate power inside of you. You are created, you were born, and you were created with a tremendous amount of energy, each one of us, and abilities to accomplish great things in our lives. And yes, we get hit with the tides of life. Life comes at us in various forms, usually in ways that we're not ready for. Life is a mystery. It is definitely a mystery. They talk about one of the things that there's no guidebook, there's no manual on how to deal with life situations. There is no manual. The way we go to school and we study a subject, and then when we get to the end of the semester or the end of the subject, we get a test. Whether you're in elementary school, in high school, if you continue on in extra learning, whether in yeshiva, whatever it is, you learn a concept, you get fahered, or you get a test to see how much of the knowledge, especially if you're going for a certain degree, you study for the exam, and then you take the exam to find out if you comprehended the information. Life is the exact opposite. We don't get the information and then get tested. We first get tested, and then in retrospect, we look back, and that's how we learn the subject. There is no manual for life. Life is a journey. Life is a mystery. Many of you, whatever situation you are currently in your life, if you're already an adult, whether you're a young adult, middle-aged adult, or older adult, just look at your life and you will see that many of the situations that you are currently in, many of your status of where you are in life was very distant from what you had envisioned when you were younger. Why is that? Because when situations arise, we deal with the situation and we figure it out, and then something changes, and now we have to deal with that situation, and then we have to deal with that situation, and we turn around and why are you here? And then we look back, we'll say, this happened, we're on a journey, and then all of a sudden we ended up here. We may be extremely content where we're at and extremely happy, but it's rare, almost impossible, that a person writes down, let's say when they're 18 years old, so they've matured out of childhood into adulthood, and they wrote down exactly what they want their life to look like. This is what I want to do. This is when I want to get married or not get married. This is how many children I want to do. This is where I want to live. This is what I want my children to do. This is what I want my spouse to do. It is rare that a person writes down a whole list of goals. Doesn't mean that they don't write down any goals, but it's rare that a person will write down a list of goals and follow through on that list. Doesn't mean that people don't write down certain goals. They do. However, life throws things at us. It's a mystery. But that's how we get to where we are. So there is no manual for life. There's no manual for parenting. Our manual is how our parents taught us, how we picked up things from our counselors, our experiences, all about living life. And as we age, and I speak personally myself, I am aware of this. I understand this concept more and more. If you're still very young, God bless you. It's amazing that you're listening to this type of concept at a young age. I didn't start living my life until I was over 40. That's when I started to get into recovery. That's when I woke up and became aware of all these things. So the bottom line, to get to your higher self, to live there and sustain it, that takes honesty. And that's what we're going to do now. So to repeat the question, especially those who didn't hear it, I want you to write down, when you hear the word Pesach, when you think in your mind, oh, Pesach is coming, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? I want you to write it down. What is the first thing that comes to your mind? Wow, there's a lot to do. Where are we going to go? Who are we going to have over? Do I need to, what is the list of what I have to purchase? Do we need any new items in our house? Is it about the shopping? Wow, Pesach. I remember when I was younger, the first thought that came to me, Pesach, it's expensive. Pesach is expensive. My mother Oshom used to say that Pesach was not created by a female. That's what she used to say. And that negative talk that I'm assuming she learned from her parents was ingrained in me. And I passed that on to my children. As I stated, one of my children I know for sure is traumatized from being in our house through Pesach. Because to me, Pesach was an overwhelm. There's so much to do. It's so expensive. Am I going to be able to do it right? Am I going to be able to clean the house? What is it when you hear the word Pesach? What is the word that comes to you? And I want you to write that down and be honest. Take a moment. Be honest. You don't have to show it to anybody. This is for yourself, because this is how we are going to get you to experience not just Pesach itself, through your higher self. Imagine experiencing Yontif preparation for this holy day through your higher self. That is my goal for tonight. That is my objective, to guide each and one of you to live not just in the Yontif through your higher self, not just to sit down at the Seder with your family and live it in your higher self, but all the preparation that comes from before, to also live and experience it in your higher self. Imagine doing that. Some of you can't even imagine. Some of you may not even know what I'm talking about. So again, when you hear the word Pesach, what comes to mind? Overwhelm, a lot of work, expense, Am I going to be able to finish it in time? Where are we going to get our things? So on and so forth. Am I going to complete all the cooking? What I have to get my list together. What is it? Yes, there are things that have to be done. Some people avoid the whole process and they just go away. And that's beautiful. If that's the life that you are having, if that's the way that you discovered to make it easier for you, I'm not here to criticize anybody about the way that you celebrate the Yontif and how you celebrate, celebrate the preparation. Imagine celebrating the preparation for Pesach. Can you imagine? When I start to do this work, and we do it in our program, I've been doing for the last 5-6 years in our program, talking about this, and I will get to the practical aspects, I promise you. I'm not only going to talk about theories. I would go to the store, and I remember hearing, oh my gosh, it's so busy, and the lines are so great, and all this stuff. And I didn't go to that mindset. I would go and I saw beauty. I saw beauty. I saw families together. Husbands on the phone with the wives. We have that item. Do you want this type? Do you want this company? Do you want that? I just looked at it with such beauty. I go, wow, look how beautiful this is. Yidden living their lives, preparing for the holy day. What is the day? I'm not, again, this is not a religious program. I'm not coming to teach you something about this story. We all know the story. But our ancestors went out of 210 years of slavery to the promised land. That's what we're celebrating. 210 years, not a single slave was able to leave Egypt. And then all of a sudden, one night, 3 million, 6 million, whatever the number is, and I don't remember, and I'm sure there's plenty of people here who know the exact number, but there were 7 million Yidden that left in one night, gone. That's what we're celebrating. That is the story that we are celebrating. How apropos is it in our situation right now with the hostages in Eretz Yisrael? How apropos is it to talk about the beautiful lineage that we have, the ancestry, and who we are and about us? So beautiful. And when you think about the preparation that we're preparing for that, and what do we think about? A lot of us, be honest, I'm right there with you. There is a reason that we, in the preparation, we lose sight of what we're doing. There is a reason, especially if you have small children, especially if you have struggles in your financial situation. There is no question that you're going to feel that. And I want you to know, that's why I love this time of year in the work that I do, both in the emergency room that I work in, the psychiatric emergency room, but more importantly, in the work that I do in our trauma healing program, in our weight maintenance and weight loss program that we have been doing for several years. That, to me, this time of year is the most fascinating time for anybody that wants to learn how to live at their higher self, how to achieve a life that is spiritually and emotionally calm and connected and grounded and happy. To live that life, this is the best time to learn. The best time in the Jewish calendar. The best time to learn. There's so much that we can learn. Why? Because we are busy. Yes, the holiday season is busy. It's supposed to be busy. It's a busy time of year. Doesn't mean that it has to be chaotic. It is busy. There is a lot to do. Nelson Mandela, for those of you who know, is a freedom individual, a great man who lived in South Africa. And he had a lot of great sayings. And he says, I never lose. I never lose. I either win or I learn. Wow. Making a mistake, not doing things right, having a setback to him was not a loss. It was a learning opportunity. Now, during our busy season, we can learn from this time of year. Never lose. You never lose. You can't lose if you are alive. If you are here, if you are experiencing your 1,440 minutes every day, then you're not losing. You don't. And that does not mean that you don't have challenges. That does not mean that you don't make mistakes. That does not mean that some of your goals you're having difficulty achieving. That is not a loss. You see, a setback, failing, yes, we know what that is. You failed in school. You failed, right? There was only one right answer. You failed the exam. You can't fail at life. You don't fail. If you're alive, you're not failing. Failing is temporary. Giving up, that's fine. Giving up is final. And if anybody knows people who have given up on life, and I unfortunately have experienced too many of those in my years in recovery and working in psychiatry, it's sad because giving up is final. Failing, I never lose. I win or I learn. So there is no failing. And it's the reason why a lot of us have those, if you wrote down a negative connotation of what Pesach preparation means to you when you hear the word Pesach, it's because you have a misconception about what failing is. Failing is not losing. It's a temporary setback. Giving up, that's final. Giving up is not an option. You, only you, not your spouse, not your children, not your parents, not your siblings, not your community. Nobody is going to get you to your higher self. Nobody except you. It is on you. Knowing that should be very comforting thought, because then you don't have to change your situation. You just have to change your focus. Whatever you focus on, that is what grows. So let me explain so you can understand it. So you wrote down what the word is, and if you want to share it afterwards when we do the Q&A, love to hear it. You will have an opportunity. I'll give you those who can't unmute the text message where you can text in your questions, and we will get to that. We spoke about what the first word is when you think about it, and that's honesty. You got to know where you're at. You got to be honest. Is it so much to do? Will I have enough time? Whatever it is it expensive? What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word Pesach? Now, what does Pesach mean to you? What is your mission? What do you want to accomplish once you get to Pesach? I want to make sure the whole house is clean. Is that your primary mission? Want to get all the chametz out? Want to make sure that I'm done in time? Is that your mission? Your house should be clean? Is your mission, I need to make sure that all the family have the clothes, the new clean need? Is that your mission? Is your mission that I have all the foods that I need, the raw materials? Is that your mission? The food shopping? Is your mission that I need to have the right foods cooked and prepared before pay? Is that your mission? I have to complete all the shopping? What is your primary mission for Pesach preparation? Because whatever your primary mission is, that is what is going to not just trigger, that is what is going to drive your Pesach preparation. If your primary mission is to get your house clean, anytime there's something that's going to be a little bit off, that's going to send you off kilter. That is going to remove you from your higher self. If your mission is to make sure that all your children have identical clothing and they're all wearing the same clothing, if that is your mission, because when they go out, you want to be proud that you're a great parent, a great mother. If that is your mission, what other people are going to think of you, and your ego is what is driving you, that is what is going to drive everything that has to do with your Pesach preparation, even though that's not the only thing that we do, obviously. And if you have difficulty doing that, that will affect the remainder of your Pesach preparation. If your main Pesach preparation is that you have to have all the foods that your Bubby had and all the things that you've cooked until now, and there has to be this amount of foods always, and if that is your main focus, that is your for Pesach, then if you are unable to accomplish that on a certain level, or if you gave yourself more than you're able to do, or something happens that, chas v'sholom, somebody gets sick before Pesach, or you have something else, some situation that arises that prevents you from completing your mission, that is going to affect the rest of your holiday preparations. And you're going to lower yourself from your higher self, not just in the one thing that you do. You can't compartmentalize yourself like that. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So if that's your mission, if that is your main focus and your main priority of Pesach, it is going to affect everything else that you do. If your main mission of Pesach is to sit down at the Seder with your family and enjoy, then that is what's going to be your mission. That is what is going to drive your entire Pesach preparation. If your mission is big enough and strong enough, your fears cannot affect you. What is your mission for Pesach? Be honest. Is that the mission that you want? And if you want to understand why you have that mission, well, that's stuff that we do. That is the work that we do in our program. But I'm going to help you out tonight anyways, and help you a little bit, hopefully, to make your preparations for Pesach from the higher self, that when things don't necessarily go as you had originally envisioned, or planned, it is not going to send you off kilter, and then you won't be able to be in the highest self, not just by the Seder, not just by the Yontif, not just by the Chol Hamoed, but even in your preparations. Because if your mission is big enough, your fears will not block you. They will not affect you. I didn't finish. What does sitting with your family at their Seder, there's no such thing as not finishing. Being connected on a spiritual level, discussing Yetzias Mitzrayim, that we left Egypt, that we were enslaved for over 200 years and we got out. And we're celebrating that. If that is our mission, then everything else that we're doing in preparation for that comes from our higher self. But if we are focused just on the basic path of preparations, that mission is not big enough to live in your higher self. So let's talk about what beliefs you have. First of all, obviously, the first question is, I apologize. Would you like to change your mission? Are you satisfied with your mission? Are you content with it? If you're content with your mission, and even if you've been doing it for 10, 20 years and you don't love it, but you're content, go for it. Don't change anything. You don't have to change anything if you don't want to. But if you would like to live a calm experience, a calm and peaceful Erev Pesach, the week before Pesach, 2 weeks before Pesach, like we are now, if you want to experience the calm now and you haven't, then we got to change your mission. So if you want to change that, that's what we're going to focus on now. And as I stated, for the last 6 years now, we've been teaching this, not only the parents, not only the mothers, but I've heard this from our clients that 2 or 3 days before Pesach, the child looks at their mother and they go, "Mommy, why aren't you doing anything? Why are you sitting and having a cup of coffee and reading?" And the mother goes, "Why?" She goes, "Isn't Pesach coming in a few days?" And you go, "Yeah." "Don't you have to be like," they would go like, "busy, chaotic?" And we go, "No." Can you imagine? Into the Yontif, rested, calm, not having to stay up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning for days, if not weeks before, cooking and cleaning and doing all these things to try to get yourself prepared. Can you imagine? Yeah, it's possible. It is. So there's a few beliefs that some of you may have, and I take them from my own list. You have other ones, I'd love to hear it in the Q&A. So let's say one of your thoughts about when you think about Pesach is the word difficult. It's difficult. There's a lot to do. It's difficult. I want you to change the word and not use, we said the 3 things that block you from living in your higher self is blaming, complaining, and excuses, justifying. It's difficult. That's complaining. Instead of the word difficult, let's use the word that it's doable. Starts with the same letter. Pesach? Yeah, it's doable. I can do it. Say that to yourself. Difficult? It's doable. Somebody may think it's scary. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish everything in time. It's scary. I'm scared that I'm not going to complete. I'm scared that I'm going to fail. I'm scared what other people are going to think about me. Fears. How about we change scary to fun? It's fun. Holiday preparation is fun. We get to have a good time. Let's say we go with the kids and clean their rooms together. We can do the shopping list together. We can do the cooking together. We can make it into an enjoyable time. It's fun. We get to buy new clothes. How nice is that? Try on new shoes. It's fun. So we can go from scary to fun. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. So much to do, so much to accomplish, so little time. It's overwhelming. How about it's time to make a connection? I'm feeling alive. I'm feeling vibrant. I'm busy. I'm making a connection to myself, to life. I'm living life connection. Those are just 3 that I thought of. I'm sure there's other ones, and I'll be more than happy to talk with you about it in the Q&A if you can come up with some certain beliefs that you have about the holiday. If your mission is big enough, if your mission is to enjoy and have fun with the preparation, to celebrate, to connect, then all those other beliefs that you have all those negative words that you have will disappear. Once you understand this, and you do this work first, which we've done right now, we're doing it right here, then I'm going to give you a practical solution. And this is what I teach my clients. Practical solution. Right now, we're 18 days. In order to do this, I'm only going to start off with a difficult thing at first. So I want you to make a list of the things that you want to accomplish still before Pesach. I want you to write down a list of what still has to get done. What you want to do. I want to make 10 kugels. I want to make 6 cakes. I want to buy 2 new outfits for each child. Whatever it is, you write down that list. Then once you write down that list, this is the only difficult part of this entire process. However, or challenging, I should say, right? We said we're not using the word difficult. You see, I'm also not perfect. But the only challenging part of this process is this. However, if you've already changed your mission from lowering your mission to, have the house clean, buy new clothes, make sure all the foods are done. If your mission is about celebrating a beautiful part of our history, and you've already changed that, this will be much easier right to you. Because if your mission is big enough, your fears cannot stop you, not get in your way. I never lose. I either win or I learn. This Pesach preparation, you're either going to win or you're going to learn. You're not going to lose. Failure is temporary. Giving up, final. So we're not giving up. We may fail. We may make mistakes. Not may make mistakes. We will make mistakes. We're supposed to make mistakes. We're not going to be perfect because we're human beings. We don't do perfect. So you got your list of the things that still need to be completed prior to Yom Tov. Obviously, there's certain things that you can't do till the actual day before. However, there are a list. Now, I want you to take that list. Now, if you have the mission that the mission for you is celebrating with your family, this will become so much easier. I want you to take that list and look at it, and you've got to divide it into 2 separate lists. List number 1 is what you want to do, what you want, what you would like to happen. And be honest, I would like 6 new outfits. Beautiful. Write it down on your list. Now, what do you need to do to celebrate with your family? I actually only need 2 outfits. I want 10 kugels. I actually only need 3. I want 6 different types of cake. I only need 2 or 3, whatever it is. It'll be easier to separate the wants and the needs when your mission is clear. When your mission is a higher self mission, this becomes real easy. Now, you have a list of your wants and your needs. You take your wants list and you burn it, right? We do an early beer chometz. You burn it. You rip it up, throw it in the garbage. All you have left is your needs list. 18 days. You get to do 3 tasks, not more, every day. That's 54 tasks before Pesach. I don't know anybody who has 54 needs that need to do. Oh, you can do less, right? Maybe there's a certain task that takes a little bit of time. Obviously, cleaning the whole house plus other things, that's a large task. But okay, I'm just going to clean the bedrooms, for instance. That's a 1-day task. I'm going to clean 3 bedrooms. That's 3 tasks. Each task, 1 day, 3 tasks, no more. Once you complete your 3 tasks, now it's you time, me time. That's right. Now you get to spend time with you. Maybe you want to go to bed a little early and read a book, talk to your spouse, spend time with your children, play a game. Joy. Live at your highest self. Call your friend. Say, hey, let's go out for a cup of coffee. Let's sit and schmooze. Maybe I can go to the gym. You will have time for almost anything that you want if you follow this process. You have to start with the honesty of what Pesach means to you. What word comes up? What is your mission for Pesach? And now what is the higher self mission? Once you do that, then you can make that list of your wants and your needs. Take your wants, roll them out. There's a reason why we do that. It's not childish. It's not a game. It is important. Loose ends in the mind is what causes us discontent. When we have in our mind, oh my gosh, I didn't finish something, that ruins our equilibrium. When you rip up that wants list and throw it out, you're basically saying, no, my sense of stability, my inner peace is more important than those things. So it's really important that you rip up that. Now, if you get to a point where you've completed your task and you have a lot of time, and now you want to add and do a want, by all means, you do that. you will be able to live your preparation for Pesach with inner peace, with joy, have fun, live with your higher self, and obviously celebrate, however it is that you celebrate, from the higher self. Imagine. And then once you experience it before Pesach, you can take this experience, this beautiful experience, right? You said, I never lose. I win or I learn. You can learn from this time of year and take it throughout the rest of your year. This is the best time of year, most exciting. We're alive, we're doing. And when you go to the stores, people running around, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but they got their list, and you will look at them from such a different perspective. Such a different perspective. You won't be worried about the long lines. Okay, it may take you a few extra minutes. There's a lot of people doing these things. Yes, it's Erev Pesach. We are busy. It is a busy time. We're going out of Mitzrayim. It is a huge celebration for us. There is a lot going on. Nobody's denying that. But when you do it from that perspective, from your higher self, then the way you approach it comes from such a different point of view. You will be amazed at how your preparations. If you have trouble writing down your list and planning, that's a different thing. That's a deeper fear that's blocking you. If you have that, we can talk about it here. We do this in our program. We do this a lot in our program. And I was told to notify you, everybody, that because it is Erev Pesach, and we want to give people an opportunity to live at their higher self, that we're having a special deal with the first 3 people that decide to sign up for our program before Pesach. You don't have to start it before Pesach, but to sign up, you'll get a free one-to-one session with me, free. Normally we do Q&As. You will get a free session. If you refer somebody, you and the person that you refer to, in other words, if you're already a member, the first 3 people that sign up, you will be able to get a free session with me, as well as the person who you sign up, who you refer to. So, as Marilyn, if you can put in the chat, she's going to put in the chat the phone number if you want to find out more about our program, which is the same number that if you have a Q&A, we're going to open up for Q&A. If you have a question that you want to ask, if you are unable to and you prefer to text it, 845-400-9466. Again, 845-400-9466. You can also listen to our free webinar, which we have. The phone number for that is 845-241-88. This is absolutely free. You're welcome to listen to our webinar. It talks about our program. And the recording for tonight's session is on that same number, the 8855 number. It won't be up to the replay. Again, it is in the chat for those of you who are calling online. Option 19 to have all the past podcasts. Whenever we put up a new one, the other one gets deleted. However, we do have it, and the links are there to our YouTube channel or Spotify. There you have all our podcasts that we started in January. And one more thing, we will be sending out a survey tomorrow, and we would love to hear your feedback. And anybody who fills out that survey, they will also be in a raffle to get a free session with me. All you need to do is to answer the questions. We'd love to hear if you have a specific topic that you would like us to address. It will be another one before Pesach. I know we normally have them every 2 weeks. Our next one will be the first week, and May 5th will be our next podcast, I believe, but you will get notification for it. And if you want any of your friends to find out about it, they can just call our office, 845-400-9466. Okay, so we're going to open up for the Q&A right now. Questions and answers. If there's something that you would like that was said that you would like to clarify, if you would like to challenge me on something you don't agree with, I love that. I love to hear what you have to say. If you have a question about something that can help you to get to your higher self before Pesach that you're struggling with now, you can either unmute. I believe you are able to unmute now. You can ask your questions. You can put it in the chat, or you can text it again to 845-400-9466. We'll stay open for a while, and we'd love to hear what you have to say if you have anything. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here before Pesach and spending an hour of your precious time before Yontif. We appreciate having you. And again, if you have friends or relatives that you would like to notify them or tell them about our Mindful Mondays, you can just tell them to text the word mindful to the office, that number, and they will get the notifications. Okay, who would like to start us off with a question or a comment? Again, either unmute. We won't be calling you out by name, so don't be embarrassed. Or you can put it in the chat or text it in. And we'll stay open for a little while, and depending on how many people have questions, who would like to get us started? I know everybody likes listening to other people's questions. You learn from it. Again, it doesn't have to be a question. It could be a comment. Who would like to get us started? Nobody has any questions or comments about anything? Wow, was that clear? Maybe somebody wants to just share what they start off with, what Pesach meant to them, and was there any change, what it means now, how they want to change their mission about Pesach, anything? Okay, I see that 17 and 16 have unmuted, so we're going to go with 17 first and then 16. Yes, 17, you are up. Hello. Oh, and then there's somebody with M also. So 1716 and then the letter M. Okay, go ahead.
I want to know this. I was very organized with the calendar, exactly what I'm going to do each day. What if let's say today, I know I have to do 2-3 things for Yom Tov and I didn't get to them. My need list, somehow I feel like I'm not even getting to those things. Am I doing it wrong?
One more time, repeat
I don't know.
that.
I made a calendar of what I have to do every day. With the little children, I don't get to the basic things.
You don't get
But at night, could I go to sleep without doing it, or I have to do what I have to?
So there is no have to. This is the beautiful thing about this process. And you bring up a really valid point. And by the way, my tech person just told me that they realized that they had put that unable to unmute, and that's why people had it unmuted, but it's disabled, so that's why. There is no must complete. When we say there's 3 tasks to do, that is a maximum, not a minimum. If you are unable to complete your task for whatever reason of that day, you did the best that you could, correct? You have to unmute again. You're muted. So maybe they got cut off. Okay, so let's go to 16, and then if 17 comes back, we'll continue with 17. 16. They're able to unmute. Yes, Darren? Yes, they are. Okay, 16. Go ahead. Hi.
Hi. When I answer the question about what comes up for me when I hear the word Pesach, first it was, and then as you were talking, I was realizing that it's overwhelm at how Pesach is going to be, and like the main thing is that I shouldn't be embarrassed.
Wow, powerful. 96, I see you. You will come after M. And not being embarrassed.
Yes.
So what's that about?
So first I was blank. I was like, what? And then as you were continuing to talk and you were saying that while we're celebrating, I remembered that usually because we're celebrating, it connects me to see my victories and like how far I've grown. And sometimes I'm so into how far I'm grown and like being pulled back to what I've gone through that I end up making a little bit of a scene about myself. And then after the meal, I realize, and then it becomes a cycle of hope I'm not doing that next meal.
Once again, so at the different meals on Yom Tov you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. So what happens?
As we're talking about redemption and just even seeing all the pay stuff, it's linked to me with being free and brings me back to one Pesach where I had just gotten over a rough patch, and it brings me back also to my struggles and to my victories. And then I just get like, not really grounded. I'm more remembering and reliving, and then it's embarrassing because I forget that I'm at a meal and not at a therapy session.
I'm not understanding what the embarrassment is. The embarrassment is that you're not at a therapy session? Is that what you said?
No, the embarrassment is Pesach the Seder starts. I see all the different things that are like, there's certain things that every Pesach has. The way the table is set and like certain things, and it brings me back to one Pesach quite a few years ago, where I had just gotten over a rough patch and celebrating my personal victory. And at that Pesach, I didn't really have the ability to see myself from other people's eyes. All I saw was me and my really like difficult moments, and like I was so happy that I'm finally at a place where I was. And now the next few Pesach, I get reminded of that Pesach and of different times that I was having a hard time. And like I either relive things by myself, I remember things and I'll cry or I'll feel really overwhelmed.
So in other words, what I'm understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, is that Pesach reminds you of a lot of the struggles that you have experienced in your life. Is that correct? Some of the trauma. Yes? I see you unmuted, but I don't hear you. Hello, are you still there?
Alan, were you able to hear me?
Now I can hear you. I couldn't hear you for the last minute.
Oh, so where were you? Where was what was I saying?
So I asked you, I said, so what I'm understanding is that Pesach reminds you of your past struggles that you've had in your lifetime. Is that correct?
Yes, and it reminded me because for certain things were revolved around Pesach.
Okay.
Just the timing
so we call that's similar to PTSD. That's a form of PTSD. So you've had some trauma, and now for you personally, because of your life experiences, Pesach brings you back to there, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So let me ask you something. Number one, would you like your new life now? Meaning, do you want to continue living in your past, or do you want to celebrate the new life that you have now?
I want to celebrate living life now.
Beautiful. So whatever happened in the past, and I'm not minimizing it by any stretch of the imagination, you are here today, correct?
Yes.
So your past, can you do anything about that? What happened?
I didn't get your question. My past could give me what?
Can you do anything about your past at all?
No.
You sure? It's closed, right? It's done.
Yeah.
Okay. When a person keeps living in their past, as you are describing, they are not allowing themselves to live in the present. Why do you think people do that, yourself included? And I'm not saying, and again, I hope you're not taking any of this as criticism. And I really validate your feelings because it must be really a lot for you if you're feeling. Why do people?
I don't know why other people would do it. For me, I do it because sometimes I'm just afraid to be living in the here and now, and that provides me with a...
So there's a fear, and what do you think that fear is of living in the here and now?
I was going to say the fear is a lie, but what the fear is...
I'm going to help you what it is.
What?
The fear is...
the fear is that if I just let myself be and relax, then I won't be able to protect myself. But if I'm all in worry mode, then I'll be able to, not really.
So the fear is that if you are happy, you're going to fall again and you'll lose boundary, or putting up that wall to protect you is going to cause you more pain and anguish and be vulnerable, and that's scary, correct?
Right.
So you have a fear to live in the present.
Yes.
Thank you for your honesty, because that is the only way to heal. Is through your honesty. And I validate your feeling and I understand it. And it's a healing process. So I want you to tell me 3 blessings. You've already said that you don't want to live that way anymore, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I want you to tell me 3 blessings that you currently have in your life.
3 blessings. I have clarity of thought.
Wow. Wow. That's huge.
And I have freedom to choose.
Wow. That's powerful.
Yes.
When you were going through your trauma, did you have any of those?
I didn't have clarity of thought, and I didn't have freedom to choose.
Yeah.
So,
and now you do, correct?
Yes.
Those, I want you to do one thing for me right now, as you're saying them. I want you to say them again. I want you to smile. You smiling? You smiling?
Yes.
How does it feel when you smile? But it feels good?
Yes.
Okay. It's the new you. So I want you to smile. I want you to tell me about these 3 beautiful blessings that you have in your life right now.
I have parents.
Okay.
And I have clarity of thought.
Okay.
And I have freedom to choose.
Wow. Wow.
It feels more powerful.
Much more powerful.
It feels like I own it.
There you go. So for the next 18, you already told me that you want to live at a higher self, at a happier self. You don't want to live that past anymore, correct? For the next 18 days. Okay?
Okay.
When you get up in the morning, before you go to sleep, I want you to smile, look in the mirror if you want to, you don't have to. And I want you to mention those 3 blessings that you have to yourself. I can almost guarantee you, I promise you, I can promise that your Pesach will be so different. You see, when your mission is so big, fears, and not get in the way. That makes sense?
Yes. So what's my new mission?
Your
My
new
new
mission is
is
to live the new self, the new you, right? Isn't that what you said? You don't want to be that way anymore, correct? That is your mission for Pesach. Your preparation for that, in order to accomplish that mission, is to smile and mention your 3 blessings twice a day, morning and night. If you don't do it perfectly, it's okay. It's not about doing it perfectly. It's just about doing it. It only takes a moment. You own it. It's yours. When you own it, you feel blessed, correct?
Yes.
Beautiful. Then that's your mission.
Thank you.
Feels good.
Now I really feel ready to prepare for Pesach.
Okay. Who is next? 9-10. Did you want to have a question? And then we'll go to 9-6. You're unmuted. If you could just mute, and then we'll get to you after M.
No, I just wanted to say thank you so much for these sessions. They're amazing. They're informative. I look forward to them. It's a wealth of knowledge. So really, thank you for your time.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Is there anything that you want to share with us other than that beautiful thank you?
Not really. Baruch Hashem, I'm a little past the baby stage, middle-aged, and my kids are all out of the house and in far-off countries. And I'm an only child, and I have an elderly mother that, Baruch Hashem, I have to count my blessings. She's not in a nursing home. She still lives independently, but I have to be home alone with her for all the meals for Pesach like I did last year, and not complaining. I could do the 3 letters.
I'm sure. Yes.
Yeah, the BCJs, like there's no tomorrow, but it takes a lot of koyach and mental concentration and discipline to really just say what would be the alternative and count your blessings, and it is what it is, and make the best of it and make the most of it. Is it ideal? No. Is it the most enjoyable and beautiful and everything? We'll make it, and thank God. And I don't know.
Yeah, your mother's a fortunate woman to have such a loyal and endearing daughter to help her. That's a beautiful thing.
I don't really have much of a choice. So
there's always a choice. There is always a choice.
Consciously and kibbutz and
again, there is always a choice.
True, but I could choose to run a red light, but it's not really a choice.
Not all choices are good choices, but there is always a choice. You've chosen a certain path, and to be proud of yourself that you've chosen this. You're teaching your children how to respect their parents and how to treat elderly people. That's a beautiful thing. Children learn from example, not so much from what we tell them, no matter what age they are. Sounds like you're doing an amazing job.
It would be nice if I could do it from truly a pure heart and not just out of, not guilt. But,
I understand, but that's what we teach in our programs, to get to that higher self. That can be accomplished. That is the work that we do in our program. If you want, you can call in the office and listen to a free webinar. That is exactly what we do, because the truth is, it's never the situation and it's never the other person. It's you have the ability to look at it from a higher self. And does it take work? Absolutely. You're old enough to know that things don't just happen in life. If you want them to happen, you got to make them happen. So you have inside of you the ability to look at it from a higher self and to live that higher self. You have it. And it's just a matter of tapping into it, learning about it, healing, and getting to that place. It's not logical. We always try, almost all of us, we try to logically figure it out. It's not how it is. It's a healing process, the subconscious. That's what we do in our program. We heal the subconscious. So we naturally, I was suicidal 24 years ago. I was 312 pounds. I've maintained a 100-pound weight loss for over 20 years, and I have 0 negatives in my life. 0. I have challenges, but I have 0 negatives in my life. And the only way that I live that way is by this work that we're talking about here. What I teach is what I do. So I do this every day. I'm not priding myself. I'm just telling you that it's doable. And fears come in at times.
What do you mean that you don't have negatives in your life? You never get upset? You never get off your rocker?
I never lose. I either win or I don't lose.
Oh, that's what you mean, that you don't lose. Okay.
I do not have a negative. I have challenges. I have annoying coworkers. Annoying. I work in a psychiatric emergency room. I get suicidal, drug addicts, alcoholics, homeless, and people say, "Oh my gosh, that's so difficult." I go, "No, it's not difficult at all." I don't judge anybody that comes in. But the only way that I can be that type of clinician is from my work that I do on myself. I don't have any negatives. I have challenges. I don't look at them as negatives because I'm not in management. I was fired from management several years ago when I became aware of this, and I was fired due to incompetence. I'm not in management. And when I keep that mindset, I am happy 90 to 93% of my days as well.
Amazing. Beautiful. Kol hakavod.
And this is why I teach what I do. This is why people come. They don't become because of what I know, because I'm no better than anybody who's here. I'm not. Somehow I came through pain, not through virtue. My life was in shambles 24 years ago. I let myself into a crisis center and I was at the verge of giving up. So I know what that is. I understand it because I've experienced it. And I clawed, and yeah, it took work. And I'm not saying that it doesn't take work. I don't know if you ever heard of Dave Ramsey. You ever heard of Dave Ramsey? He has a great line. For those of you who haven't heard of him, he thinks about getting out of debt. And he has one line that is so brilliant. He talks about people being very frugal and very careful with their money, get out of debt so that they can only pay with cash. I don't have any credit cards. I don't have debt. I pay only cash. Other than a mortgage, everything is cash. No debt. I go on vacation, debit card. No credit cards. I don't own any credit cards. I haven't had one for about 12 years. He says the line, live like nobody else does. In other words, the sacrifices that you have to make to live frugal so that you can pay down your debt, you can live like nobody else does. See, I live like nobody else does. I've been in recovery for 24 years. I still go to 2 meetings a week for my own recovery. I still make my phone calls. I do my reading. I do my own personal work. I have a coach. I have a mentor. I do that every day. I don't miss a day. So I live like nobody else does so that I can live like nobody else. To me, I don't have to do this work. I get to do it. It's a choice. I get to do this work.
Because you love it and you believe it and you live it.
To me, it's my oxygen. I've been gifted. I've been given a second chance at life, more than a second chance, and I grabbed it. So if you are here, if you are enjoying this, there is a reason that you are here. I challenge you to look into our program every day from your higher self. It's a process and it works. And I love to talk to you about it.
That's Shem. Thank you. Absolutely. It's not a challenge. It's a pleasure.
So reach out to the office, listen to the webinar. One of our coaches will talk to you, and you deserve the best.
Thank you. Thank you for everything. And you said there's no class before Pesach? Did I understand correctly?
There's not going to be another one before. Yeah, we're going to do our next one. It's going to be a week and a half after Pesach. Thank you so much. You too. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. 9-6, you unmuted next. You are up. Hello. Yes. Hi.
Hello.
And then after 9-6 is 1-5. You will come after 9-6. Yes, 9-6. Go ahead.
So I want to share a success.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, last week, Thursday night, my son calls me on his way home from yeshiva. Ma, can I have lal shishi at home? Probably not, because it's before Pesach. So I said, what
did he ask for? I didn't hear.
He asked if he can have a lal shishi.
Oh, a little shishi. Okay.
So he asked the question, but he answered it at the same time. He says, my friends and I want to have 5 boys, a little lal shishi in the house, but probably not because it's before Pesach. So I told him, Simon, what does Pesach have to do with having a lal shishi tonight? What's the problem? The kid was so overjoyed.
Wow.
Ma, can I buy some cholent and kiggle and we'll divide it between my friends? I said, absolutely.
Wow.
He was like, wow, yeah. There's one part in the way I answered him and the way I allowed it and accepted it and absolutely thought that's really why can't he have a lal shishi, even if it's before Pesach. And also that he went out and asked me, that meant a lot to me, that he opened up and he wasn't afraid to ask me or he didn't feel uncomfortable to ask me. And that's really,
wow.
I attribute it to the work I've been doing the past almost year. And so that's the success. And
did you believe when you joined the program, did you believe that would ever?
No, you asked me already if I believed. I knew that not. I'm going to say it again and again.
I don't know if I quoted you, Tom Sawyer.
No.
Who's what's the name of not Tom Sawyer. Yeah, Tom Sawyer. Wasn't he a famous American author? Am I quoting the right name? Or maybe that's the name of the character, but that's not. One second. Tom Sawyer. I think it is. No, Tom Sawyer.
Mark Twain.
Mark Twain. Thank you so much. Thank you, whoever answered that. Mark Twain. So Mark Twain had a great line, one of his famous lines that he wrote. He said, "It's not what we don't know that gets us into the most trouble. It's what we know for sure that just isn't so. So you came and you said, I knew it wasn't. I knew it couldn't be. I knew it wouldn't happen. And I read that one day, and I think I shared in our meeting I was.
Yeah, you shared it on one of the Q&As.
Yeah, I was at the tennis match and I was sitting in the wrong seat. The seat number was correct, but the section was wrong. I was there with my son, and this lady came and said, "You're sitting in my seat," and I showed her on my phone. No, and she goes, "No, that's the wrong section." I started laughing because I told her what I had read that day that Mark Twain said. So it's not what we know for sure. It's not what we don't know. We think we need more information. No, it's what we know for sure. It's just not. So here's a perfect example that you knew for sure that this couldn't happen, and look at you. That's amazing. Yeah. That's why I say the healing goes deep. Look at that. Your older son feels. How do you think that makes him feel? Just blew him away.
Oh, amazing. Calmer, happier.
The mother creates the environment in the home. The parents create the environment in the home.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Absolutely, yeah. So my question, that was my success for tonight.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Here.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
My question is, yeah, I know that exercising is very important.
Oh, here's another no.
Well, I know, yeah.
You believe?
Well, it's something, I believe, something we all know, right? That exercise is good for
movement. So maybe I can, before you ask your question, maybe I can change the word a little bit and we'll help you.
Sure.
Movement is healthy. When people use the word exercise, there can be a lot of negative connotation to it. Moving, taking a 15-minute walk 3 times a week, is very healthy for the circulation, for the breathing, for the body. That's keeping the body moving is healthy. You don't have to call it exercise. When people hear the word exercise, difficult, strenuous, challenging, those thoughts can come in. So movement is good for you.
For me, for one, exercise is a nice word because I enjoy exercising.
Beautiful.
It brings out a lot of good hormones in me, but lately, there's a but here, I can't stick to a routine of exercise. And I feel that it's such an important thing for me. And why am I resisting I know for sure every day that I'm starting today and that I'm going to do it every day or every second day. I have the treadmill in my house. I have it in the comfort of my home. I just have to go downstairs, and I still didn't get onto the treadmill.
Movement is healthy. The word exercise clearly is having a negative effect on you accomplishing something that you want to do.
I don't feel like that's what it is because I'm not.
Because if you move, how much did you used to? How long has it been since you went on the treadmill?
A long time, but I was doing different forms of exercise and workouts and attending different classes. Lately, it has become a little bit more difficult for me to attend because it interferes with my working hours. So I said I'm going to do the treadmill instead till I can rejoin. And I didn't go on to treadmill since I stopped.
So again, on the treadmill, you run?
Both.
Okay. Is there anything stopping you from doing that outside?
The weather, for one, it's clearing up a bit, but...
I'm saying now.
Now this second?
I'm saying the weather now. It's nicer, right?
No, the weather is so cold. What?
Okay, cold, but it's not 10 degrees below zero.
I live, it's still pretty cold, and there's snow and ice, and it's not that pleasant to walk outside.
It's not. So walking outside nobody walks outside?
People do walk outside, but I don't enjoy walking when it's so cold.
Okay, but it's possible. So that's not an option. Do you have stairs in your house?
Yes, a lot of stairs.
You have a lot of stairs. So how many flights of stairs do you have in your house?
I have a flight down and a flight up. So there's quite a bit of stairs.
I'm saying, how many flights? 3 flights. So if you would walk up your 3 flights and then walk down them and walk up again and walk down them and walk up again and walk down them and do that for 15 minutes, wouldn't that be 15 minutes of exercise?
I'm not doing that either.
I didn't say what you're doing. If you're not speaking, if you could please mute. Thank you. Hello? You there?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. So you want to open up your feelings wheel? Find out what is blocking you?
Have to run up 2 flights.
Good.
I could. It's going to take a half a minute.
So run up 2 flights. See, you're doing exercise right now.
No, I feel like it's a deeper thing. It's not just...
I'm not saying it's
exercise.
not.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying that the availability to do exercise doesn't have to be so complicated. You can multitask. You can do it while you're on the phone. And you know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be total immersion. Okay. So when you think of the thought of exercise, what feeling comes up for you? I hear you. When you think about doing exercise, what feeling comes up for you?
Hmm?
So you don't want to be happy?
I do. That's my question. I want to do the exercise. I'm happy to, and I just don't get to it. I can't push it into my schedule.
Okay. So there's a different question here. Okay. So you're having a difficulty with the planning process, correct?
I guess maybe it's the planning process, although I'm always planning and organizing, and
Oh, I'm sure you're doing a lot of things for other people. What about you?
I do things for other people, but I do things for myself too.
But this is something that you want to do for yourself, and yet you are giving excuses why you're not able to do it. So there's a fear there.
Just 1 second, please. Yes, sorry.
Okay. So there is a fear there of you doing something good for yourself, correct?
It doesn't feel like it, but maybe.
Then you're not being honest with yourself. If you want to do something that you like and you believe that you can't find the time for yourself, you are saying to the universe that you are not important enough to do something that you enjoy.
I don't particularly like doing treadmill.
I wasn't talking about treadmill. You said that you love doing exercise.
It does something.
Okay. And you even start off by saying that I know. So whenever anybody says I know it, that's a red flag. So I know that it's good for me. That's a red flag right there. Because you knew that this program wasn't going to work for you. Same thing. No difference. So you're trying to do something that you enjoy, that's healthy, that you really like. And yet now you say that you don't like the treadmill. Do you see how you're changing your story?
I like exercising because of the outcome. It makes me I feel very...
We're not talking about the outcome. So the actual exercise, the actual movement. We all want to be wealthy and thin and gorgeous. We don't want to do the work that it takes to get that way. So just enjoying the outcome is not enough of a motivator to get us to do things. So the first thing that I would recommend for you is something that I did when I started to go to the gym about 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I said, what is the exercise? What is that I will not have a battle in my head? Should I do it? Should I not? Yeah, I would love to bench 250 pounds, bench press. I would love to be on the staircase and the treadmill and work out like crazy like these people do. Yeah, I would love to do it. I was never a gym person. I was 300 pounds. I said, you know what I like doing? I like to swim. I enjoy swimming. So I started to swim. I swam 4 laps, and then I swim now 120 laps, an hour and 10 minutes, 3 times a week. I love it. I love before, I love during, and I love after. I had to pick something that I really, if you have something that you're in conflict with, you're not going to do it. So you got to determine for yourself what it is you want. I don't think you know yet what you want. Does that make sense?
I know what I want.
If you know exactly what you want, then there's no reason that you can't get to it, unless you don't think that you deserve to have what you want.
I do think I deserve.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
I do think I deserve to do it for myself. I owe it to myself. Maybe it's something about not making the time for it, thinking that I don't have the time to do it.
So by you saying that, is you're saying that you're not important enough in your day. And maybe you believe that if you do that, you're taking away from your other obligations. There's a level of worthiness that you still don't believe you have. Because if you believe that you are worthy, there's nothing stopping you. Here's another Nelson Mandela. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine as children do. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. It's very possible that you have a belief that if you take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to be the mother, wife, grandmother, whatever your titles are enough, and you are taking that away from yourself. Think about it, and then we'll talk about it next week.
Thank you.
Fair enough? Some food for thought?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. 1-5, you are up.
Yes, first of all, thank you so much. I really I relate very much to this question. I have the same thing of why I don't do exercise enough. So I have food for thought now.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yes. My question is, every year before Pesach, there's more physical work, obviously. And
Why is that obvious?
why?
Yeah.
Because
You said
more,
obviously. Why is that
right.
obvious that there's more physical work? I see that there's less physical work because of modern technology and everything, that all these stores and things have discovered new ways to make things easier and less challenging. So I don't think it's an obvious.
Just for example, I don't have a Pesach kitchen, so just bringing down all the stuff from putting it into the closets and organizing it, that alone is physical work. I don't have machines to bring.
Why is that more? When you say more, you mean at this time of year is more? Is that what you mean?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, I misunderstood you. I apologize. I thought you meant that your pace are becoming more difficult. I misunderstood. I apologize. Now I understand.
Yes.
There is more things to be done than other times a year. Yes, I get that. You are correct. I agree with you.
Yes. So let's say that's one thing, organizing and everything, putting into the closets and taking out stuff to make room for the Pesach things, and also obviously the washing and the sweeping and the whatever, all that. So basically what happens is that my hands start to hurt, my feet. So it's a struggle every year. I feel not only the physical pain, it also brings like emotional pain.
Correct.
Yeah.
So when you think of Pesach, what word comes to you?
So I think it's horrifying, even though I enjoy many parts of it.
I didn't say not, but what word comes to you when you think about Pesach?
I'm horrified. I'm so scared of the physical work.
Horrifying.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. That's a powerful word. So it's understandable with such a word that your mission for Pesach is to be horrified. It's obviously you're going to have, I'm assuming you have back pain also, no? Would you have back pain also?
When I was expecting, yes, but usually not.
Okay, so your hands and your feet start hurting and you're horrified by this.
Yes.
Okay, so
I think the pain, I'm not sure. I'm still struggling with it. Is it physical, the pain? Or
probably
it's coming
not.
really from an emotional place?
Oh, I doubt it's physical. You go up to the attic and you bring the oven down? Is that what you do yourself, or you have your...
No, my husband does that.
Oh, okay. So do you clean your house?
So I help a lot.
1 second. Do you clean your house throughout the year? You have children?
Yes.
You do laundry?
Yes, I do plenty, and sometimes it hurts during the year too.
Throughout the year, you do laundry. I'm not talking about Pesach. I'm talking about throughout the year.
Yes, I do laundry, and when I overdo it, it also hurts.
1 second.
But during the year, sometimes
during the year, you do laundry, you do cooking, you do cleaning, you do shopping. Yes?
Yes.
So you're an active mother, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you're physically active a whole year round doing housework and mothering, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So Pesach, the little extra that there is on Pesach, I'm not saying that there isn't stuff that needs to be done, is not to such a level that somebody who's been active a whole year is going to feel pain in their hands. And where else? You said your legs?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Mostly my hands.
Yeah, I don't believe that is physical pain. That's the psychosomatic pain. Do you know what psychosomatic means?
Yes, I know. I'm very into Sarno. Yes.
Okay. So your psychosomatic pain is caused from your belief that Pesach is horrifying. That's a belief that you have, correct?
So that's why I'm confused, because I could also have this kind of pain in the middle of the year, not only before Pesach.
I understand. So whenever you feel horrified about the work that you need to do, so for whatever reason about you being a parent and dealing with your situation is horrifying to you sometimes, would that be accurate?
Yeah.
There you go. So what's your question?
How do I get rid of it?
Okay. Are you in our program, by the way?
No, I would love to be. It's I guess maybe too much money right now.
So if you would love to be and you want to heal from it, you can reach out to the office and see what we can do to help you out. Because how old are you, may I ask?
33.
33. And how many children do you have?
5. Can I have?
Beautiful. So you sound like you're overwhelmed. in general. Would that be accurate?
Yes and no. I don't feel like it on a minute-to-minute basis.
I didn't mean 24 hours a day, but quite often.
When the kids are home.
Yeah. You see that you have a lot of beliefs that are fueling your emotions and your behaviors. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's what you're struggling with. That cannot be logically repaired. That needs healing. And that's what we do in our program. We heal that. These beliefs that you have that your life, the way you have it now, feels overwhelming is what is causing more than just your physical pain. I'm sure there are other things, that anxiety that is making life difficult for you, and it's having an effect on your children and yourself. Would that be accurate?
Yes.
It's a healing process. It's not logically. You came to the right place. And this is literally what we do in our program. We heal that. You can be healed. It's not impossible, but that's what we do. There's a beliefs there about Pesach being horrifying. So let's just take care of Pesach for now. You'll call the office and talk to them. But before we do that, you spend Pesach with your children are old enough to help yet?
They're not reliable to help.
I didn't ask if they were reliable. There's another belief.
They're old enough to help?
That's another belief that you have. Do you see that?
I'll tell you, my oldest are boys. So boys.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
But you have certain beliefs about boys. Do you see how many beliefs that you have that are causing you difficulty?
I feel like kids can't take the responsibility. I have to take the responsibility. If they help here and there, that's beautiful, but I'm still taking the responsibility.
Again, so you're the mother, correct?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't believe that your children are reliable?
I meant to say to be relied on to do the whole Pesach cleaning.
I didn't say to be relied on to do the whole Pesach cleaning. Do you see how you went from one extreme to the other? Do you see that?
Yeah.
So you have a multitude of negative beliefs that I would assume you did not create yourself, but you were taught these beliefs. Yes? Does that make sense?
I don't know.
You picked it up somewhere. Not your fault, but you picked it up somewhere. And this is what is making life difficult for you. It's not your situation.
Are you saying if my kid, you're saying the solution is my kids?
No, they're not the problem, so they can't be the solution. The problem is not.
I don't see how my kids come in here. That's what I mean. I don't see where my kids come in here if they do or don't help.
My point is that because you have these beliefs about their abilities to assist you, then you feel overwhelmed and neglected and everything's on you. And therefore you're feeling these pains and you're having a rough go, and you have this belief that Pesach is horrifying. That's a horrible way to live. You don't have to live that way. And then comes up with the excuses of why you can't, and the blaming. You're blaming your kids. They're not reliable. They can't do. They're boys, right? Excuses. You got all three. You got the blaming, the justifying, the excuses, and the complaining. Do you see that?
It's not so extreme. I'm not blaming my kids, and maybe I'm blaming myself, but I'm not blaming them.
I'm not blaming them. I'm saying you are blaming the fact that they are children, they are males, and therefore, since they're boys, they can't help. They're not capable.
It's more that I don't rely that if they do a job, I have to anyway do it again. That's
So that's a belief that you have. So in other words, your belief is that your kids are not going to do the job properly. They're going to have to do it again.
Yes.
Well, that's perfectionism.
Yeah.
And you have this belief. So perfectionism comes from low self, which usually comes from a dysfunctional upbringing on some level where you've received some emotional neglect in your upbringing and you were not nurtured properly in your emotions. Would that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. That's the problem, not your situation. That can be healed, but it's a process. That's what we do. So how much longer would you like to suffer?
Not even 1 minute.
I don't believe that for a moment. See, what happens is, and I'll tell you why, what happens is that your anxiety, your overwhelm becomes a programming in your mind that you condition yourself that even if they do help, even if you would find the help, you would find something else to distract yourself, to get into this feeling of less than, inferior, that you would find something else to distract you. So it's not the pace, it's not the cleaning, it's not your obligation, it's not your children. It's the conditioning that you have in you that is causing all this that we are discussing, not the other way around. In other words, if you were living in a home and you had cleaning help and you were very wealthy and you could afford whatever you want, you would, because of your mindset, you would be feeling the same way. It would just come out differently. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you're conditioned to live with anxiety. And that's a programming and that's in conditioning, not your fault. And I want you to know that I really validate your feelings. I acknowledge them. I've been there. I know what that is. It's horrible. A person like that, they feel very stuck, right? And there's no way out. It feels like the walls are caving in. And it's very difficult. And you're harming your own self without even knowing it is not what's going to help you. It's not about more information. And it's harming your children, yet you want to be the best mother. And everything that you're trying, you're just feeling extremely overwhelmed. And I really empathize with you. And I know what that is. I have been there. And that pain is real. And I'm not talking about the physical pain of your hands, the emotional pain that you are experiencing probably on a daily basis more often than you would either like to admit to or are aware of.
I'm also extremely tired.
Of course you're tired. You're addicted to adrenaline and you live with chaos. And it's something that you've conditioned yourself and it's not your fault. And I hope you don't feel that I'm criticizing you.
No, I'm not sure what it means I'm addicted to adrenaline, and I don't understand what that means.
That means is that, can you do calm?
I think so.
Really? Can you just sit at peace and quiet and calm?
Yeah, I think. I did a meditation with, what?
When your kids are home, you can do calm?
I can sit in one place and do nothing.
I didn't say that. I said, can you do calm, inner peace? Can you be 2 weeks before Pesach and have calm?
Yes, sometimes not.
You're not being honest with yourself.
I do like meditations and thinking.
Oh, I don't deny it. I understand that you do, but you, by saying what you are saying does not fit with that. I'm not saying that you don't try to, but based on how you are describing your life, for you to do calm and take care of yourself and do what needs to be done for you to be happy and accomplished and be a mother, it doesn't fit with that other stuff. I'm not saying that you're not trying to get there, but true inner peace and true calm and not anxiety and not chaos in stressful situations, I don't believe that you have the appropriate coping mechanisms to do that. Otherwise, you would not be feeling pain. You would not be asking this question. This doesn't fit. So does that make sense so far?
The truth is, even as a girl, when I did a lot of physical work, it hurt me in my elbows. So that's why I'm still confused if it's physical or emotional.
I hear that. And I would assume that the anxiety was there as well.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like it's emotional, like psychosomatic, to answer your question. Mm-hmm. That's what it sounds like. When you think of Pesach and you think of horrified, that's a very scary word. And I believe you. I believe that you do feel that way. And I feel your pain. I went through it. I know what that is. It's terrible. What happens is that as much as we say that, yes, we want to get out of it, we really don't know how to exist without it. And we self-sabotage. It's not logical. Because logically, you want to be out of it. Yeah, I understand that. But in reality, you don't. Because if you really did, you would be. Us humans have a tremendous amount of resilience in us and ability to do. We were created with that. We were born with that. But if you've been conditioned to live with anxiety and overwhelm, then that's the adrenaline that I'm talking about. That's why you're tired.
And it's not coming from not sleeping enough.
Insomnia is coming from the adrenaline. You can sleep 10 hours and still be tired, and you can sleep 6 hours and get up like a roaring lion.
Yeah, I don't sleep enough on a daily basis, not necessarily insomnia.
I understand. But if you're not sleeping enough, why are you not sleeping enough? You having difficulty falling asleep, or are you having difficulty going to bed at an early hour?
Yeah, going to bed in the early hour.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. That is exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's insomnia. And some people are afraid to go to bed early due to a lack of control. I don't know. I don't know what it is. You'd have to analyze it and go through it. But you've described a very challenging life that you are living. And I really do. I empathize. Yeah. I really validate your feelings. I really do. I don't know if anybody has ever given you permission to express your pain with being acknowledged and validated. I don't know if that's ever happened for you, but I do that now, and I really do. I acknowledge your pain. It's real, the emotional and the physical.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you want to find out more and hopefully we can help you. I hope that was helpful.
Yes, it really was.
Beautiful. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming. Keep coming. Okay. I don't know if I had anybody else. It was somebody else who unmuted, said ABC. Oh, here we go. 609761. Yes. Hello, 60. You're up.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Let me ask you, trying to figure out why I'm having a hard time burning the wanting list.
You don't have any matches in your house? Oh, that I told you that's the only challenging part of this whole process.
Right.
Amazing.
It's not as simple as it seems, but yeah.
No, it's simple. It's just not easy.
So what's keeping me back?
Okay, there's two things that will prevent a person from burning their wanting list. One of two things: perfectionism and people pleasing. Which one is you? You already answered perfectionism.
What's the other one?
People pleasing.
Oh, maybe a little bit of both.
Oh, I would say a little bit of both.
Yeah, or a lot.
A little bit of both, yes. That's it. It is fascinating how powerful the subconscious is, that we create this life based on what we want other people to think of us. And I'll tell you where it comes from if you would like to know.
I probably know, but go ahead.
I'm sorry?
I probably know it, but I...
Oh, so go ahead. Let me hear what you have to say first.
No, I'm saying subconsciously, I probably know it's a lot of beliefs or stuff, but let me hear what you have to say.
Well, it comes from our ego.
Okay.
What is ego? Ego's not a bad thing, but
right.
But what ego is, the ego has a positive part of it. What ego is our drive, our will to survive comes from our ego. If we didn't have ego, right, we wouldn't have a will to survive.
Right.
Very important part of humanity. However, when it's gone to the extreme, what ego does is it causes a separation, a competition amongst humans. We're in competition with others. There's no rules to this game, and we're at war with ourselves because we believe that we are at war with other people. Ego is separation. It separates us because we have this belief that we need to be better than in order to survive, and that belief comes from a fear of being vulnerable.
Right.
That's it. Does that make sense?
Very much. I'm also having a hard time distinguishing between what is really a want and what's really a need.
That's why you're having that problem. Do you know how many people come to the average funeral? How many people cry at the average funeral, at the average levaya? This is statistics, by the way. I don't know who spent money to figure this out, but this is statistics.
No, I don't know.
Less than 10. Do you know what the number one factor is of how many people are going to show up at a levaya? The number one factor. Do you know what it is?
I remember you mentioning it once, but I don't remember that. Maybe the weather?
Exactly. The weather.
I'm a good student. Okay.
The weather. Isn't that crazy?
I don't know if I agree with that, but I hear you. If that's statistic.
Whatever amount of people are going to, obviously people who are more community type of people, there's going to be more people. Right. But if the weather is bad, whatever people would come would be less. That's the point.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Chasnas is rarely, that's really what makes what people will come. People go to chasnas in bad weather more than they go to levayas.
Maybe because it's indoors.
Oh my gosh, that's cute. Maybe that's why the weather, right? Because it's outside.
Yeah.
The point is that we spend our whole life, a lot of people, worried, concerned about what other people think of us.
That's true.
Trying to put on this facade.
Which is also a good thing to some degree.
Well, that's a belief that you have.
I think if we would live on an island, we wouldn't even have a drive to do anything for myself.
So do you see what you just did?
I generalized, but...
No, you didn't generalize.
Okay.
You went to two extremes. You went from concerned about what other people think of us to living on an island.
What I'm trying to say is that do I have to really think for myself, like, what do I really want? What's a need? What's a want? What's important to me, not to others?
So you can
living with people.
Yeah, so you can live with people,
right,
minus the concern of what they think of us. You know what helped me get past that? Because I used to struggle with it so much. I would love to say that I never struggle with it. I do, and that's okay. I'm a human being. I'm not perfect. I'm good with that. Somebody, what was it? It was just recently. I'm trying to remember the situation. I don't even remember what it was. Maybe it was at work and somebody said something about what they thought about me. I don't remember the situation. And I answered them. I said, okay, you're entitled to your perception of me.
Right.
That's fine. That's whatever it was. It wasn't a very kind, it wasn't a comment. Oh, yes, I
Right.
remember now. Okay. It wasn't a comment. I was zero affected by it. It was extremely derogatory. And I didn't even react to it. What helped me is one time I was seeing somebody talk to somebody else, and I was sure they were talking about me. Like Mark Twain.
Right.
Positive. This is definitely it. No idea if it was. And then I realized, I said, you know something? When I'm not here, they could also be talking about me. So I have no control over what these people say.
Right.
If I have no control, what am I worried about if they are or not? It's not like I can control their opinion anyways. So even if they are, it's not because I can control it for this minute, I'm really controlling it. I'm not. And when I got that awareness, it was such a light bulb for me. And that was my beginning of my journey to become less and less affected by what other people say about me or concerned. I used to be in I was in a popularity contest. What do you think about me? What is this? What is that?
What about things that are on my list that, let's say, give me pleasure, but I know it's going to take a lot out of me?
What about, again?
I'm saying with the things that are on my to-do list, let's say cleaning certain things in my house that really is not important. It's just going to give me pleasure. Doing some
It's not important, but you want to do it because you like it.
Again?
You want to do it because you like to do it.
Not to do it. I like the outcome. I like my house.
I'm saying you like having a shiny whatever, right?
Yeah.
Aren't you important? Isn't that
right?
Need?
So I have to make the decision.
I'm saying, isn't your mental health a need?
So I have to make a decision to give up something. Like I'm more important than my whatever. Let's say it's my curtains or whatever it is. Yeah.
I'm just saying. So if that gives you pleasure to see your shiny whatever it is, becher or whatever, right? Right. I mean, isn't that, then it's not a burden, is it?
There's so much
doing something for yourself. Right? It's no different. It's no different than going to the gym.
But then there are a lot of things that I like. And then
I
reality,
understand. So that's why
I have to make decisions like how much going over, you know.
Great question. So one of the challenges about doing this, and something it's a healthy challenge, because I told you this time of year is the greatest time to learn stuff from. Do you see that?
Absolutely.
It's if you really want to learn, this is the best time of year to learn this stuff, because it may come up the rest of the year, but not quite in the same way.
You're challenged in every which way now. There's a lot.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You could grow from, as you're saying, right?
Yeah,
a lot of opportunities.
The opportunity to grow emotionally and spiritually is amazing.
Absolutely.
When it talks about Yetzias Mitzrayim, this is through Yetzias Mitzrayim.
Absolutely.
It really is. I'm not being facetious.
Right.
I think the preparation for Pesach is a bigger learning curve than the actual Seder. You can learn so much in these couple of weeks, and we get so lost in the tasks that we lose it. So here's another beautiful lesson, and you bring up a really good point, and that's why the wants and needs, one of the real healthy living in higher self is recognizing your limitations as a human being.
Right. True.
If you live a spiritual life and you live your higher self, you're there to do your ability. And I'll tell you where I learned this if you want. It was Hanukkah time, and you heard about the Lubavitcher Rebbe past, yes?
Yeah.
He was giving out coins. It was Hanukkah geld.
Okay.
And I witnessed this, and I'm blown away when I see things, because it's whoa. Like, why I saw this, not anybody else, I guess I thought to be able to help.
Okay.
So he's sitting there for hours. It was a one-time thing. It never happened before. That's why so many people came. And I'm in line, and this person before me, two people before me, he gave out the coin, and the person dropped it. The Rebbe gave it to him, but he didn't take it. Like, it fell. So the Rebbe gave him another one. So there's one on the floor. You get the scenario, right?
Yeah. And
the person in front of me bends down and picks it up. Okay. Now the Rebbe is going to give it to him, and he shows him that he already has one because he picked it off the floor.
Right.
Obviously, the whole point of going to a tzaddik is to get it from the tzaddik's hand, right? Isn't that the whole?
Right.
But he showed him that he already had it, and the Rebbe made like a nod with his head. I don't know if you can see me, like just no. I was blown away by that. Here is sitting, spending hours for whatever reason. It was an important thing to do. I have no idea why it was important. We don't know why tzaddikim do what they do. Who knows?
Right.
For whatever reason, it was obviously that he felt that it was an important thing to do. He did his best. He sat there, they advertised it, they came, right? And this person didn't actually follow through. And he just said, okay. And what I learned from that is he did the best that he could. That's it. I was blown away by that. I go, wow. That's a real level. We do the best that we can. We understand our limitations as humans. If we live with our higher self, whatever we do is enough.
So let me ask you this. What about...
And when that happens, our wants list is real easy to destroy. Because once you make a decision, the word decision it comes from a Latin word, which means decare, which means to cut off. Like Victor Frankl says, when you make a decision to do something, you decided this yes and this not. That's why you burn it. That's it. This is my decision. This is what's going to make my yontif happy. And that's it. It's done. I don't need to convince anybody else. Somebody may even criticize, Ma, how come you didn't do the curtains? Or whatever it is.
Right.
Maybe. True. It's possible. I doubt it, but it's possible. And even if they do, once you're at peace with yourself.
Right. You get the people around you get that message as well.
I'm sorry?
I'm saying the people around you get that message as well.
Yeah. They're not going to complain. And it's an amazing thing to...
What about if I would tell myself, I maybe could have started my work a little earlier, but...
Yeah, sure, like after Pesach from last year, right?
Yeah.
Again,
there are people that do it in our system that,
we start to feel guilty. We're complaining.
It can also be like a learning. Oh, next year I'll do it this way. Next year maybe I'll start this.
We only get to live now. I told you there's no manual for life.
There are systems that people work for them. They have their ways of cleaning the house whenever they start. It's like a whole system that works. It's not for everyone. Everyone has different...
Well, I understand. People already know what to do and what works for them. That's fine. Okay. So if you have your
I'm like, no, do my own thing. I couldn't think of it 4 weeks ago. And it is what it is. It's fine.
So here you
Whatever
are.
I'll get to. And it's okay.
It's
I'm okay with it. But sometimes I'm like, I would have liked some more things to get done, maybe.
1 minute.
Would be.
So look at you now. You're here for 2 hours, right? You gave yourself 2 hours of mental health and inner growth. How powerful is that? 2 weeks before pay. Could you have done that a couple of years ago? Taken off 2 hours of and given it to yourself? That's amazing.
Absolutely. At the expense of a dirty kitchen, but for me...
Doesn't matter. But you gave yourself that time now. That is what to focus on. Because it's not about completing. See, true success is not about accomplishing. True success is working towards a healthy goal. If you're working towards doing the best you can for your family, that is far more important than having a shiny... I'm not talking about that specific item that really makes you feel good. No, if you have an item that really makes you feel good, that should be on your needs list.
I'm saying generally, obviously, if you have everything perfect, it just feels good.
There is no
such want to slave for it? No. I'm saying for me, things that I would...
Whatever you like, yes, you choose for yourself. You write the list.
Right.
And then once you make that list, anything added to it, sorry, we already have our list. And you give yourself permission to be human. When you give yourself permission...
It's a lot of it. You definitely let go, I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely.
You're giving up certain things. It's a decision. It's a choice that I'm making.
Yeah. And be comfortable with it.
Right, 100%.
Like I told you, if your mission is big enough...
Right, if it's higher, then just,
then
there's a meaning, a deeper meaning, a purpose for it. 100%.
I learn more, like preparing this. I've been teaching this for 5 years, but never like this. So I learned more this year. And to me, it's not about Pesach. It's about every day living like that.
But we do live in a physical world and things have to get done.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I understand that. And when you stop for a moment and take a breath and pause and say, okay, what can I do? You know what I can do right now? I can go to sleep. It's late. I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, That's what I can do. But you can't get to that, as simple as it is, without talking about these concepts. True?
100%.
That's why this is so powerful. And everybody was here 2 hours, 3 hours almost, giving up of your time, Erev Pesach. Wow. That is so powerful. That is sending such a powerful message to your subconscious that you are really important.
Great. All right. That was good. Food for thought. And yeah, that was really helpful, actually.
No, great questions. Based on your questions, I can see that you live in your higher self.
We're working towards it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I see it based on your question. Okay, thank you. 9-7.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Appreciate your time.
You're welcome. 9-7 and then 6-1.
Hi, is it me?
You are 9-7, right? Isn't that the last two digits of your phone number?
Yes.
There you go. That's
Yes.
you. Hello.
Yes. So my question is, yes, thank you for the opportunity. So my question is, I have the same issue with my hands killing me and my leg, but I don't feel like it's the same answer to me. And I'm like wondering if it's physical or emotional, my hands that are like really.
Okay, so you feel pain in your hands, okay? And
in my leg.
And when do you feel this pain?
No. Now when I do so much physical work.
So okay. So do you do work all year round?
Yes.
Okay. And do you ever feel it any other time?
Sometimes when I overwork.
Why would a person overwork?
Like situations that come under, let's say if my baby's not feeling well or like situations that come under.
So if your baby is not feeling well, so you have to attend to your baby, yes?
Right. So I'm holding her more, so my hands hurt.
So if your baby's not feeling well, that means that you're taking away some of your time from your other obligations for your child, for your baby, yes? And if your baby is not feeling well, does that cause you emotional distress a little bit?
No.
Not at all?
No.
You're okay with it? You're perfectly calm with it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're holding a baby for a long time, yes, your hand is going to hurt. That's natural.
Mm-hmm.
If your legs hurt, if you're standing on your feet for a long time, your feet are going to hurt. Do you ever stretch?
No, I don't do stretch.
So when you say your legs, it's your calves or your shoes?
No, it's from...
Down your thighs, the back of your thighs?
No.
Where's the pain?
My bottom part of the legs.
I'm sorry?
From the knee down. From the knee down.
Okay. So that can be just calves that are not stretched, that the muscle is tight because you're standing on your feet for extensive periods of time. Is that possible?
Yes.
Okay. So do you know how to stretch?
No, maybe I should learn.
Do you have any stairs in your house?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have to be next to the phone or you can hold it with you as you go somewhere?
I can hold it.
Okay. I want you to go to your staircase.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else can try this all the way too. We're going to do a calf stretch. I want you to step on the first stair, but I want only the top half of your foot, the front half of your foot on the stair, and the back half, in other words, your heel hanging over the stair. Does that make sense? You have a handrail, though. You can only do this if you have a handrail, by the way.
Yes.
You have a handrail?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so hold the handrail with the other hand, not the one you're holding the phone, and stand with just the front part of your feet, both your feet on the step. You understand?
Yes.
And your heels are hanging over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, put your weight while you're holding on the back part of your feet. In other words, don't lean forward, but press the weight down on the back part of your feet. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you feel that?
Mm-hmm.
Feels good, right? Little, like a good pain.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a stretch. Really simple.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it while you're schmoozing on the phone.
Thank you.
If you ever get cramps, you can just stretch, and it could be that you're on your feet for extended periods of time, and we don't realize it because we're busy. When you stretch, when you're using your muscles, they tighten up. That's what they're supposed to do. You need them tight because you need to use them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you got to stretch them. So if you stretch them, the other thing you have to do if you're on your feet a lot is to drink more water because otherwise you get dehydrated, which has caused cramps. You ever have cramps?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's the same problem. The third thing to do is to breathe. You gave birth. Did you ever do Lamaze?
No.
But they taught you breathing exercises when you were in labor? Not while you were in labor, but they taught it to you beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Breathe through the nose and then breathe out through the mouth slowly?
Yeah.
Those three things, drinking water, standing on the top of your stairs, on the bottom of your stairs, you just need to do it for a minute, step down, do it like 3 times, and drink fluids. You won't have cramps and you feel better. And make sure that do you wear sneakers, like good shoes? You know what I'm saying? While you're working in your home. Yeah? Comfortable shoes?
Yeah.
You do those 3 things and your legs should subside. And if you're doing a lot of work and you're calm with it, then it's probably physical.
I'm doing a lot. And every day I'm like I help my father is ill and my mother help. And every day I'm like, yes, I could do it. I want to do it and I'm ready to do it. But at the end of the day, just my hands, they're bruised already. Like they're blue and yellow.
You can't. So when you said that you can do it, you can't.
I could.
Obviously not.
I have the time. I want to do it.
It's not only just about time. It's about understanding your own limitations. It's about taking care of yourself as well. I think it's a beautiful thing that you're helping your parents, obviously, but you're also just one human being. So there's a little bit of not knowing what your limitations are. So self-care, take a bath, soak your legs, drinking the water, stretching, the breathing, all of those things, resting your legs when you rest, have your legs elevated. Do you do that? If you lie in your bed, put pillows under your feet so that elevates the leg, taking the pressure off your back, things like that. These are all ways to alleviate the pain that you're going with. It doesn't sound like emotional pain, what you're describing. It sounds more physical. However, there is a component of not realizing your limitations and going above and beyond. And that's not always an easy thing to determine. But you sound young, and when we're young, we think we can do anything. I'm not saying you should stop doing chas v'shalom, stop treating your parents. That's not my point. It's just understanding your own limitations and taking a little bit of extra time for your own self-care. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Try that and see if it works. If that doesn't work, then you know that it's emotional.
Yeah, thank you.
The hands, the same thing. You can do strengthening the hands. You ever seen those stress balls or whatever they're called? Like squeezing something. That's also a way to strengthen the hands. You can stretch, and it's very possible that your hands are sore because of something that's going on in your shoulder. It could even not be your hands. And you can do a similar stretch. I'll do a stretch with you now. You want to do one? All right. You have a doorway?
Yes.
Are you holding the phone with your right hand or your left hand?
With my ear now.
But it's on your right side or your left side?
Right side.
Your right side. Okay. So with your left arm, raise it up really high and press it against the doorway against the wall. Make sense?
Yes.
And then push with your weight onto that. Do you feel that stretch?
I should push the doorway?
In other words, your hand should be raised above your head, right? And that part of your arm, that whole arm, you're pressing the wall. So you're using your body weight to push forward. The rest of your body is open into the doorway.
Yes.
Do you feel that?
Yes.
Feels good, right? That's it. Not too complicated. So you got to do it like 3 times for a minute at a time to get the full, at least that. And then sometimes you can put some ice on your hands or ice on your legs also, or heat, either one, and rest them. Okay? Try that.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. 6-1, you are up. Our last question of the day.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So I wanted to ask you said in the beginning that we should think of what word comes to mind when we think of Yontif, or Pesach,
yes,
in particular now. So I wanted to ask you, once we come up with that word, what were we supposed to do with it? Like,
you don't have to do anything with it. No, you don't have to do anything. It's just being honest of where you're at. Now you want to know if it's a negative word, that's not the life that I want to live. How am I going to get away from that? So that's why we focus on, okay, what's your mission for Pesach?
Oh, okay.
And once you change that, once you recognize that mission that you want to have, then that word that comes up for you for Pesach will eventually change. But you can't feel that until you find what the problem is. It's just an awareness, and you got to be honest with what that is. That's what that's for.
Okay.
So you can see, oh, wow, that word came up for me. That means that's what I'm thinking about, what Pesach means for me.
Okay, and then how do we determine what we want our mission statement to be?
That you decide what would you like your Pesach to be. First of all, what do you focus on when it comes to Pesach? Is the most important thing for you to clean your house? Is the most important thing for you to do the shopping? Is the most important thing for you to do the cooking? What is your focus on? Once you know what your main focus on, in other words, that's what's important for you, how can I make that so it's not overwhelming? Let's talk about what really Pesach is, celebrating with my family. So while you're doing that thing that is your focus, that you are focused on accomplishing, that'll make that much easier to do, because now you've changed your mission from just focusing on the cooking to focusing on celebrating. So in other words, even the mundane things and tasks that you are doing, you're going to do it from your higher self. Make sense? It's a process to get to that, but you can't get to that unless you're honest with yourself. What is it that's important for you?
What is it that's important for me about Yantif?
About the Yontif preparation.
About the Yantif preparation.
And then
but what
you decide what is it the Yontif that you want to have in the Yontif. I'm doing the cooking because I want to have a beautiful meal with my family, let's say.
But what if, so I think that's where I'm stuck, is that last part, like maybe,
you haven't yet determined what you would want your Yontif to be.
Or what I would want it to be, but it's just not going to be this year yet. I have a lot of healing to do.
That's a belief that you have. You can have it this year. I promise you, if you do this work, it will improve, even for this year. Absolutely. You still have 18 days. It's plenty of time to heal. And you're the only one that can determine what that is.
What I want Yantif to be?
For you. That's your decision. That only you know. I'm empowering you. I'm trying to anyways. That's my goal here, is to empower everybody here to live at their highest self. So empowering you to live at that level, and thereby the decisions that you're going to make of what you want will become much easier.
I don't really see the connection. I don't really see the connection between what I'm going to focus on, let's say the work part of it that you're saying, the shopping or the cooking or the cleaning, and I'm going to determine I want my Yantif to look like.
One, you want to know what is your main focus on the preparations, right? If you're doing it for a mission to have a beautiful Yontif with your family, the whole task of the shopping, cleaning, whatever, is going to be much easier for you to do. You're going to do it with a different mindset. Hello? I think I lost her. I think she got cut off. All right, wait one moment. See if she's able to come back. But that's what it is. Once you determine what you are focusing on is important for you in your preparations, you will do them from a different perspective. Hopefully that's understood. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Hope you learned something. Hope you're able to enjoy it. I can't promise that we'll get the recording up before Pesach, but we will do our best to have it on the hotline for you. And again, if you want to find out more about our program, reach out to our office, 845-400-9466. This is stuff that we do every week in our program. We do this work every week. Okay, thank you all. Have a great night and a wonderful Kosher Lechem Pesach to everybody.
Hello.
Oh, you're back.
Oh, I'm so sorry. My phone disconnected and oh my, I missed everything you said. I really feel terrible.
No, it's fine. All I said was that's the thing. In other words, once you determine what you focus on, what's important for you in your preparations, and you have a mission of what you want your Pesach to look like, that will make your preparations that much easier. It won't feel like a burden or a chore.
Oh, okay. Thank you for this awareness. I never thought about thinking about what I wanted my Pesach to look like.
Yeah, how about?
I just know what I don't like the feeling that it brings up, but I never.
Yeah, this is how we get to that feeling that you want and not have the feeling that you don't like.
Very interesting. Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Take care, everybody. I'm glad you were able to get back on.
Thank you so much.
All right, be well.
You too.